This is the Roulette Master, and if you want to know how Sonny, a pit boss in Las Vegas, is winning money when he's at other casinos, today I'm going to share that with you, and I can't wait for that. But we're going to put it in a head-to-head matchup today with the high-low no boss that I've been using in the casino a lot, and we're going to be looking for 3 in a row of a dozen with this system. We already have 3 in a row to start right here, second 12, so we're going to bet $100 on first and third. And if we win this, we're going to win $100. Let's go ahead and spin. And if we lose, we're going to increase this bet to $250 each. That's a 34 red. Okay, we got a $100 win. We're already up $100. And now we go back to betting at base level here, which is in level 1. And we're going to be in first and second 12 for 5 each. And we're basically just doing this so that we can play this with a live dealer and wait for our moment to use the no boss. And that's a nice win there. And we're up 105. We're going to go ahead and bet on second and third 12 now for 5 each. And here we go. If you want to play automated, you don't even have to do the level 1 part of this, what we're doing right now, which is basically starting with a low bet and playing 2 dozens. And we'll be on first and second now. Let's go ahead and spin. We're up 110. But we're waiting for that trigger again of 3 in a row of 1 dozen. And I use this all the time. And this is called the high-low no boss. And again, we're already up 115. We'll be on first and third. Okay, let's go ahead and spin. And here we go. And can't wait to share with you the new system that Sonny is using. That'll be coming up. And that is a loss there. We're going to go from 5 to 15. Okay, but we'll keep an eye on those numbers over there. We have 2 in a row, second 12 right now. And let's see what we get here. Hey, we have another trigger. That's awesome. And you don't always win the first one, but we're going to go straight from that, we were at 15 each. We're going to go straight from there into our level 2 because we have 3 in a row of a dozen. But remember where we were before, that's important. So now we'll be on first and third because the last 3 are second 12. And if we lose this, we go to 250 each, and we have another go at it. And that's a 2 black. But after you have 3 in a row of 1 dozen, you almost always win. If you don't, again, you bet 250 each. We're up 175 already. Now what we want to do is remember that when we were in level 1, we had just lost at 15 each. So now all of a sudden, we're going to go to 45 each, and we'll be on second 12 and third 12 for 45 each. And again, that's because right before we went into level 2, we had lost at 15 each, and that's a 27 red. And we got the win. So in level 1, if you get a win, you start over. We're already up $220. We're keeping an eye out for 3 in a row of a dozen again. And we'll be on first and second 12 now for 5 each. And let's spin. Okay, here we go. That's a 30 red. Okay, and that is a loss. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to increase that from 5 to 15. But look at that. We have 2 in a row, third 12 now. So if we hit another third 12, we'll have another trigger. We didn't get a trigger, but that's okay. That's a 22, and that's a win. So we're up to 25. Anytime you win in level 1, you restart. And we're on first and third for 5 each. Okay, here we go. Okay, that's a win on 36 red. Okay, we're up to 30. And we'll be on first and second. We're betting on everything except for what hit last. And on the dozens. And here we go. That's an 18 red. Okay, another win. We'll be on first and third now. And we're up to 35 with the high-low no boss. And again, Sonny's system coming up. That's a 2 black. Okay, another win. We're up to 40. And let's see, we'll be on second and third. And again, if you need to bet more than 5, you can start at 10 each if that's what you have to do to play with your live dealer. That's perfectly fine as well, but play the smallest amount possible while you're doing that. So let's go ahead and we'll go from 5 to 15 and spin. If we get a first 12 here, we're going to be going into level 2. That's a 24 black, and we got the win. So we don't need to, but we're already up to 45. And let's go to first and third and spin. All right, 5 each. And again, if you need to bet 10 each where you're playing, that's fine. but start, go as low as you can, because the reason we're doing this is level 1 is so that you can play with a live dealer and not sit out spins. So we're going to go from 5 to 15 and spin on each of those. And here we go. If you're playing automated, you can just only bet on level 2 if you want, but that's up to you. And that's a $15 win. We're up $250, and we'll be on second and third for 5 each. And I do it both ways. And here we go. If I'm playing with the live dealer, I'll play the high-low no boss. If I'm playing automated, I'll probably just play level 2. Okay, so that was a loss. Let's go ahead and increase that from 5 to 15. And here we go. Okay, and let's go ahead and spin. If we get one more of a first 12, we'll have our next trigger. Hey, there's our next trigger. Fantastic. And that's a loss, but remember, we lost at 15. That's important, so let's go to level 2, and we'll be on second and third for 100 each. If we lose, we'll go to 250 each, and here we go. That's a 28 black, and that's a win, so we're up $310 now. And let's see, we'll be back to first and second 12, and let's spin. So really, really good way to play. I use this a lot in the casino and in Las Vegas, here at home and in Las Vegas. And many of you, I've done this with while I've been on trips. And let's go ahead and increase that from 5 to 15 and spin. And we have 2 in a row, third 12 now. So let's see what we get here. Hey, there's another trigger, 30 red. How about that? So remember, we were at 15, and we're going to go to level 2, and we'll be on first and second for 100 each. And let's spin. Again, if we lose, we go to 250 each. And that's a 13 black. That's another win. We're already up $370. So remember, we were at 15 when we were in level 1, so we go to 45. And we'll be on first and third for 45. And spin. Okay, here we go. And we lost that one. That's a 13 black. Okay, but we have 2 in a row, so we'll keep an eye on that. And we're going to go from 45. We're going to triple that to 130. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, 260 total bet, and let's spin. Okay, we got the win. That's a 33 black. Okay, $130 win. We're up $410, and we'll be on first and second for 5 each. And let's go ahead and spin. That's a 7 red. That's another win, so we'll be on second and third now. We're up $415. And here we go. All right, that's a 29 black. That's another win. We're at $420. We'll be on first and second. And again, hopefully that makes sense to you, that why we play this with the live dealer, so that you don't have to sit out spins. And then if you play with on automated, I do something a little bit different, but I usually play just level 2. So let's go ahead now, and we'll go 5 to 15 and spin. We have 2 in a row right now. And let's see if we can get a win here. Okay, that's a 10 black. And that's a win. Fantastic. So we didn't get our trigger, but we won. We're at 425. So we'll be on second and third now, and let's spin. Here we go. That's a 12 red. Okay, a loss. So let's triple that from 5 to 15. And since we're tripling on those losses, that's why we're starting so small with the bets. Really important to do that. Don't start with them too high. That's a 16 red. Okay, we won that, and you immediately recover when you're playing this. We're at $430, and we'll be on first and third. All right, let's see what we get here. That's a 4 black. That's a $5 win. We're at $435. And then if I'm playing this on automated without level 1, where I'm just playing level 2, I wait for 5 in a row of a dozen before I get started, or I make sure that it's in the history, which means the history that from before that you're seeing before you play. Make sure that there's 5 in a row recently if you do that. So let's go ahead now, and we'll be on first and third, and let's spin. And here we go. It always makes me feel better if I know that the 5 in a row that might have done me in has already happened, and it doesn't happen too often. We're at 445, but it does happen, here and there. So make sure that if you're playing that way, I would recommend seeing 5 in a row before you start. At least if you didn't see it yourself, at least see it in the history, and that's a 6 black. And that's a loss. We're going to go from 5 to 15. And then we have 2 in a row right now. If we get another low number, we'll have our next trigger. And here we go. That's a 23 red. We got the win. We're up $450, and we'll be on first and third with the high-low no boss. And then Sonny's strategy that he's using. Again, he's a pit boss in Las Vegas. And when he plays at other casinos, this is the strategy that he uses right now. And we're at 455 that I'm going to share with you today. And he's a really good roulette player, so I can't wait to share that with you. And here we go. That is a 2 black, and that is a loss. We're going to go from 5 to 15, and then we're going to go. We're going to look for a trigger here. We have 2 in a row, first 12 right now, and we didn't get the trigger, but we got the win on the triple martingale part of this. And we're up 460. And again, triple martingale isn't bad unless you start with a high bet. You want to start with as small as bet as possible if you're going to be doing that, because there is risk to it, and it's a system you don't want to play forever. You want to play it until you get up a certain amount and then cash out. Make yourself a couple $100 and cash out with it if you're using it independent of this system we're using today. And that's a $5 win. We're at 470, and we'll be on second and third. All right, here we go. That's a 7 red. Okay, that's a $10 loss there. We're going to go ahead and increase that from 5 to 15. And you can see we have 2 in a row now. And here we go. That's a 5 red. Oh, there's our next trigger. Remember, we lost at 15. Let's do our next trigger, and we'll be on second and third. And if we lose this, we'll go to 250 each. Here we go. Okay, that's a 28 black, and that's a win. So we're up $530. Okay, back to where we were in level 1. And again, this system is doing fantastic. But remember, if you're up a couple $100, declare victory and cash out. We're going to test it for the entire, 15 minutes so that you can see if there's anything that you like or dislike or, would do better with the system. That's what it's all about in the testing. And that's a 17 black. That's a win. We're at 535. We'll be on first and third now. And let's see how this one finishes down the stretch here. And then we'll get to that new system of the day from Sonny. And that's a 27 red. That's a $5 win. We're at 540. We'll be on first and second. And let's spin. All right, here we go. That is a 32 red. Okay, that's a $10 loss there. And let's see. We'll be at 15 each. Let's go ahead and spin. And we have 2 in a row, third 12 right now. That's a 29 black. Okay, there's our trigger. And remember, we lost at 15. So we're going to go 100 each on first and second. If we lose this, we're going to bet 250 each. And here we go. That's a 4 black. But we got the win, as we usually do. And now we're up $600. So remember, we were at 15 so when we lost, so we're going to 45. And we'll be on second and third for 45 each. And let's spin. All right, here we go. That's a win on 16 red. Okay, we're up 645. And we'll be on first and third. And if you want to start completely back over after you get the the win with the 100 and the 100, that's safer if you want to do that. And that's a 10. That's a win there. And we'll now be on second and third. Safety is a good thing when you're playing roulette to protect that bankroll. That's definitely a safer way to do it, and that's a 30 red. That's another win, and that's the 15 minutes. With the high-low no boss, we made $655 profit in 15 minutes. Definitely give that one a try out, but test it out yourself first and make sure you like it. But I've been doing really well with that. Again, I use the high-low no boss at the table with the dealer, and at the automated machine, I usually just use the level 2 version of this. So again, I hope you really enjoyed it. Now it's time for the new system of the day from Sonny. Let's jump right in and get started. Here we go. All right, the time is finally here to share with you what Sonny's been doing to win the casino lately. And we're going to start by placing some bets on all the streets that have 2 black numbers in them. And let's go ahead and start by doing that. And then we're going to have some split bets where there's just red numbers, just like that. That's a $10 bet. And let's go ahead and spin. And here we go. And then the progression is going to be the key on this. It's not like any progression you've probably used before, and that's a 21 red. That's an $8 win to start. We're up $8, and we're just going to rebet and spin, and then I'll take you through this progression, which is really the secret to this system. And that's a 32 red. That's a $2 win there. We're up 10, but we're also going to have jackpot numbers with this strategy. The 30 and the 12. That was a 32 right there. So let's go ahead and spin again, and here we go. All right, that is a 28 black. Okay, that's a $2 win there. We're up 12. We'll just rebet and spin. All right, let's see what we get on this one. That's a 9 red. That's a nice $8 win. When we hit those red splits there, we're up $20 now. Okay, so you can see we have different payouts for different hits, and that's perfectly fine. And then we have those jackpot numbers. That's a 30 red. That's a nice $20 win there. Guess why? That's a jackpot. We hit the 30, and you can see why the 30 is covered with the split and the street there. So we also have the 12, which is a jackpot number, and we're already at $40. Let's go ahead and spin. And here we go. Once we have losses, I'll take you through this progression, and that's a 10 black. That's a $2 win. We're up 42. We'll rebet and spin, and here we go. All right, let's see what we get on this one. That's a 26 black, and that's a loss. And the first thing you do when you have a loss with this system is you add 1 to everything. So we're going to go ahead and do that. All those 1s are going to go to 2, and let's go ahead and spin. Okay, here we go. All right, that's a 36 red. Okay, we lost again. Now we're going to add $2 to each of these bets. So right now they're all at 2. So we can actually hit the double button to add 2 to all these, but it's not a doubling strategy. But let's go ahead and do that. And now we have $2 on all of these bets. Let's go ahead and spin. All right, here we go. So we've gone 1, 1, 2, 2. And that's a 29 black. That's an $8 win. And you can see we're not in session profit. So we're going to keep the bet the same and spin again. We're not going to go back to base level yet. That's a 00 there. Okay, and now we lost again. We're going to go up 3 units now. So let's go ahead and do that, and we're going to add 3 to all these bets. Okay, that brings us to 7 on each one of those bets now, and let's spin. That's a 30 red. That's a nice $140 win there. We're up $120. Now we're in profit, so we're going to restart. So let's go ahead and go back to our original $10 bet, and then we'll go through the entire progression. I'll share all of that with you as we go through. But again, this is the Padavan 4-6 by Sonny, and here we go. All right, let's go ahead and spin. All right. He says you can bet more with this. You can use $5 bets if you want to. But we're doing dollar bets today, and we're up. We had a loss there, so we're going to go ahead and add 1 to all these bets. So the 1 goes to 2 basically. And let's spin. This goes 1, 1, 2, 2, 3 to start, which is how many units you're adding when you lose. And that is a nice $16 win there. We're up 126. So let's go back to 10 where we started and spin. Okay, here we go. So again, it starts out 1, 1, 2, 2, 3. And that's how much you're adding when you lose. So we're going to go ahead now and we're going to go from, we're going to add 1 basically to make the bet 2. Okay, let's go ahead and spin. So the progression is how many you add, not the total bet. Okay, that's a $4 win there. We're up 120. We're not in session profit, so we're going to rebet and spin. Remember that we started at 1, we added 1. The next one would be adding 2, and that's a 17 black. And we lost. And since those are already at 2, we can add 2 units by doubling. But again, that's the only time we can do that. So let's go ahead and spin now. And here we go. And then we'll see what we get here. That's a 25 red. And that's another loss. So now we're going to add 2 more to these. Actually, I'm sorry, we already added 2 twice. We're going to add 3. Okay, let me make sure I get that right, guys. So now they're going to be 7. Okay, and if we lose this next one, we're going to add 4. So we went 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, and then if we lose again, we'll go to 4. We did lose again, so we're going to add 4 now. And you can see for the first time now we're down, but that's okay. So now we're going to add 4. And that puts us at 11 each. And again, the progression is how many you're adding on this one, not what the total bet is. So that's 4, and let's go ahead and spin. If we lose this one, we're going to go to 5. We're going to add 5, and that's a 30 red. Okay, that's a nice $220 win. Now we're up $210. That's awesome. So that was another jackpot. Let's go back to 10. All right, here we go. Let's drop all the way back to 10. Let's actually put the bets back out again so you can see this again. So we're picking all the streets that have at least 2 black numbers in them. So let's go ahead and do that first. And then we're going to have $1 on all the red splits. Okay, so that's a $10 bet. Let's go ahead and spin. And again, it starts out 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And then we'll go over the rest of the progression as we go through. That's a loss. So we're going to add 1. And again, this progression is not the total bet. It's how much you add. So we can go ahead and actually hit the double button we can use twice on this strategy. The first and second loss, because you're adding, you have the one where you start with, and then 1 more, and then that was a win there. We're up 204, and let's just rebet and spin. And then you can do it a second time when you add the 2 in, because you're adding 2 more units, and you're already at 2. But we'll go through that again, and we're up 208. Let's rebet and spin here, and here we go. Okay, that's a 33 black there. That's a $4 win. We're up 212, and we'll just rebet and spin. All right, here we go. That is a 4 black, and that's a $4 win there. We're up 216. Let's go ahead and drop back to 10 where we started and spin. All right, here we go. That's a 28 black. That's a $2 win. We're up 218. Okay, we'll just rebet and spin. Again, it starts at 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll go over the rest here in a second. But that's how much you add to the bet, not the total bet. So we're gonna do our second one here, and that makes it a $2 bet. Okay, let's go ahead and spin. And here we go. If we lose again, we'll add 2. And we did lose there. That's a 0. So we're going to add 2. They're already at 2. So we just go ahead and we can hit the double the bet because it basically adding 2 to 2 doubles it to 4. And here we go. That is a 22. And that's an $8 win there. We're up 196. We're not in profit. So not in session profit. So we're just going to rebet and spin. And here we go. That's a 16 red. That's a nice $32 win. We're up 228. Now we can reset back to 10. So definitely the red splits are good. The jackpots are obviously good. And let's go ahead and spin again. All right, here we go. Okay, that's an $8 win. We're up 236. Let's just rebet and spin. So far so good, but we still need to go through the rest of this progression. And that's a 33 black. And again, the progression is what you add to the bet, not the total bet. We're up 238. And let's spin. All right. That's a 27 red. That's a nice $8 win. We're up 246. So we add 1 if we lose, which is 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it goes, the amount that you add goes to 7 and then 9 after that. And then we're up 248. Let's rebet and spin. All right, here we go. That's a 10 black. That's a $2 win. We're up 250. And again, that's how much you add to your bet, not the total bet. So make sure you have that clear. That's probably the most important part, is that's not the number we're, of the bet that we're getting to. That's how much we're adding. And let's go ahead now. And we're going to go from 1 to 2. So you can hit the double button the first 2 times that you lose. But you're not really, it's not a doubling strategy. So that's but that's one way to get to the correct bets. Okay, we lost again, so we can double again, which gets us from 2 to 4, which basically is adding 2 units. So 1, 1, 2, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 7, and then 9, and that's an $8 win. We're up 228, and let's see here. We can go back to 10 now. So anytime you can reset, go ahead and do so. And let's spin. So far so good with the Padavan 4-6 by Sunny, but let's see how this does the rest of the way. And then I need to share with you the rest of that progression as well. Let's see if we get to it here. We're going to go ahead and go from 1 to 2 after that loss. But basically, we're just adding 1 unit. That's a 9 red. That's a $16 win there. We're up 234. That's new session profit. That's fantastic. So let's go ahead now and we'll go back to 10. And here we go. All right. So 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9. And then after the 9, and that's a $2 win there, we're going to go to 12 and 16 after that. And that's the number of units you add to the bet. Again, that's how many dollars you add to the bet, because these are dollar units. Now, he said you can also play this with $5 bets instead of dollar bets. And we're up 226. And this would be a $1,000 bankroll. Let's go ahead now and let's go from 1 to 2 here and spin. And then we can hit double twice. But again, it's not a doubling method. That's an 8 black. Okay, so we can hit the double button one more time, which is basically just adding 2. And here we go. That's a 36 red. Okay, and we lost again. Now we're going to have to add 2. Now I might have accidentally added 3 here earlier on these, so let me make sure we get that right. 3 comes next, so you have 2 twice. So let's make sure we get that right. That's a 13 black. That's a $12 win. We're up 178. We're just going to rebet and spin here because we're not in session profit. And here we go. Okay, that's a 9 red. That's a nice $48 win. We're back up to 26. Let's just rebet and spin. Okay, that's a 19 red. That's a nice $48 win. We're up 274. We're going to go back to 10 again. So again, make sure you get that right. I think I did that wrong on one of them, but it's you had 1, and then 2, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, and then 12, 16. And that's the amount that you add to the bet, not the total bet. Okay, and this is the Padavan 4-6 by Sunny. That's a 0. Okay, we lost that one, so let's add 1 unit and spin. Okay, here we go. That's a 0-0 there. Okay, so after that, we're going to go ahead and add 2 units. And then we'll do this twice. And then after the 2 twice, you go 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 12, 16. That's an $8 win, and there's your 15 minutes. So after 15 minutes with Sunny's Padavan 4-6, we made $252 profit with just dollar units. So if you want to increase that, you can. You're just going to have to increase your bankroll. But only gamble with money that you can afford to lose. And I hope that this tests well when you test it out. Thank you, Sunny, as always, for sharing this one. And look forward to seeing you in Las Vegas in a couple weeks. And should be a great time, and can't wait for that. But again, hope you guys are really enjoying searching for the best roulette system possible each and every day. And if you are, please like, share, and subscribe. And let's keep growing this community of people that really love roulette. And remember to send those systems into roulettemaster.c@gmail.com. And we'll keep testing them out and keep searching for the best one out there. And I love it. I hope you do as well. And this is the Roulette Master, and have a great day, everybody.